but I'm a little stronger now.
Alright everyone, welcome to peak week. So this is the week where you sort of manipulate your carbohydrates in order to pull the skin a lot tighter and like fill up the glycogen stores and just get that muscle full effect, but also keeping the skin tight. Now I'm going to run you through some different like generic ways of doing peak week. However, let me put this out there first. Their peak week isn't some magical thing that's going to make you miraculously bigger or more shredded or anything like that. In order for peak week to actually work, you would have to actually be at a low enough body fat percentage, and you would also have to put the work in previously in order for it to actually work. So it's no miraculous thing that's going to make you 20% better. It's only going to be, around make you about 5% better, 2 to 5% better. So let me just put that out there now. You have to actually be ready and lean enough before you go through with peak week. Alright, so these are different scenarios. These are just very generic scenarios, and everyone's different. Everyone's body reacts differently to carbohydrates and fats and whatnot. So yeah, we'll just cover the first one. So up the top you got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Saturday being show day. Now you can also start these like the Saturday prior. So a lot of people like to start the peak week like the Saturday price, almost a full week out. So like I said, this is very generic, right? The option one is on the Sunday. So these little graphs here, this is your carbohydrates, right? This is your carbohydrate intake. This is baseline, so this is what kind of carbohydrates you're already consuming on a daily basis without your sort of your refeeds and all that kind of stuff. So your first option is you start on a Sunday, you deplete your carbs over the next like 3 days, and on the Wednesday you hit a massive spike in carbohydrates, and then you slowly start to taper that off, and then you kind of hover just above where you were at before, like on the competition day. So you can either you go back to what you were when you were dieting, or you can go just above that. Now the next option is you had a massive spike, it's like called a front load at the start of the week, and then you taper off, and then you kind of hit your baseline calories or go just above that, and then on the Friday you hit a massive spike again, and then on Saturday you kind of just judge where you're at. Now one thing I will point out, within these little dull spots here, you kind of just have to gauge where your body's at. During peak week you kind of have a general idea of what you want to do, but you gauge how your body's looking on a day-to-day basis. So you might plan to take in, say, 250 grams of carbohydrates that day, but if you're very, very flat, you might end up actually consuming about 300. So you got to have someone who knows what they're doing. Like this way a coach is really handy. They're going to keep an eye on you, or someone's keeping an eye on you that actually knows what they're doing and that can sort of monitor your progress. Alright, so option 3 is from the Sunday, all you're going to do is you start off with your baseline calories, and you are just going to sort of creep up over the week and then kind of maintain it, like hit a flat line on show day, and just kind of keep your carbs kind of consistent on the Saturday. Now the fourth option is on the Sunday, you just kind of keep it consistent, and then this is a rapid backload, and then on the Friday you hit a massive spike, and you almost go up to like almost 200% carbs, and you just shove as many carbs as you can in that day, and you're sort of aiming for about 900 grams of carbs, you know, over the course of like one day. Now, this one here is one I would definitely not recommend. It is one that if you have not had experience with, you know, this kind of method, then I would definitely not recommend it. Only a few of the like pro coaches actually use this kind of method, this rapid backload. I wouldn't recommend it at all because it is very easy to stuff up if you don't know what you're doing. So if it's your first show, I wouldn't recommend doing it. The fifth option is you keep everything the same. So if you're feeling full, if you're not feeling depleted, you're looking shredded, then why change anything? Why actually manipulate anything, you know, in your peak week? Like, why have a peak week? I'll just keep everything consistent. If you're looking good, you're feeling good, then I'd keep everything consistent and wouldn't change a thing. Me personally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this first option here, just to show you like kind of how to go about it. This is you kind of stock standard peak week. The other option too, what I was planning on doing, but I decided not to, is you kind of like taper off down here, and then instead of hitting a massive spike in the middle of the week, you kind of taper back up. That's what I've done previously. It kind of works, but at the same time, like, you don't know how much you're going to fill up over this time here. The reason I chose to do this one is because your body's a lot more prone to soaking up those carbohydrates after the last low day. So your body's going to uptake glycogen a lot better than it normally would. And by doing a midweek spike and then kind of tapering off, if you do kind of spill over, and when I mean spill over, I don't mean like gain body fat, because, you know, at this highest point here, I'm going to be in maintenance, or just below maintenance. But by spilling over, I mean your skin's a lot smoother. It's not like grainy and tight and shredded. That's what, when people say spill over, it just means the muscle's got a sort of smoother effect. So if I spill over sort of on the Wednesday, then I've got time to correct it by the time Friday comes around. Now with all of these methods, you want to be kind of peaked or just a little bit flat by Friday, so that by the time Saturday comes, you're either ready and you can just keep your carbs consistent throughout the day and keep to like a minimal amount, or you can kind of add more carbs if you need to. So the most ideal situation is either being ready by Friday night or just a little bit flat. You don't really want to be spilled over by Friday night. With the methods, say like this one here, option 3, I'd kind of give that to someone. So these first two options you can kind of do in general. You can do them in general. This option here, I would give someone who's been pretty flat their whole prep. So if you're doing a lot of cardio, you're doing a lot of weights, you're burning a lot of calories, and you're constantly flat all the time, and you're struggling to get a pump, then I'd go for something like this, because I don't see a reason in actually depleting when you're actually fully depleted. If you've been depleted for the last sort of like 6, 7, 8, or however many weeks, then I don't see a point in actually going through a depletion phase. I would just pick your carbs up over the week as you see fit, and just keep increasing carbs until you found your sweet spot, and then kind of maintain that and cruise for a bit until show day. And so that's what I'd recommend if you're fully depleted. So yeah, the option 4, just highly suggest not doing it. I just wanted to show you what a rapid backload looks like. If you're fully depleted, do this kind of increase over the week until you hit, you know, your ideal carbs, and then kind of maintain that or go just under it, and then just see how you look day by day. Option 1 and 2, they're very similar. I would just recommend, like, if you do go through a prep, is actually doing a trial when you're lean enough to do a trial, maybe like the week before peak week, like last week. I did a trial, and what I did is I actually did this and I picked my carbs up for about 3 days and then kind of dropped them back down a bit, and it worked. However, for the purposes of YouTube, I wanted to show you something more like this, like more your traditional one. But I also found that I wasn't as tight as I'd like to be. Like, I was still lean and full, but I wasn't as tight as I wanted to be. So that's why I wanted to do a full deplete and then load, and then that way it gives me kind of time to figure out if I need to carb up more. Now, the option 5, like I say, if you're feeling full, you're feeling good, you've got enough energy, just keep everything the same. So in terms of sodium and water, you want to keep everything, all variables, the same if possible. So if you're drinking 4 litres a day, or say 4 or 5 litres a day of water, then keep it consistent. On show day, I would drink only as much water and eat as many meals as you normally would by that time. So if you drink 2 litres of water by say 3 o'clock and your show's at 3 o'clock, then drink that 2 litres of water, or just drink as much water as you need to help with that thirst. Don't go over and above, because that is not part of your normal daily routine. So keep everything as per your normal daily routine. Same with sodium, keep as much sodium in as possible. So my plan, what I'm going to do is, when I'm pumping up, I'm going to get some fries from McDonald's and I'm going to have those, and so I can utilize those carbohydrates, fats and the sodium to bring up the vascularity. That's my plan. That's personally what I'm going to do when I'm pumping up. I mean, it's up to you what you want to do. Now, when it comes to protein and fats, if you're depleting your carbohydrates, so you're depleting those glycogen stores, what you want to do is raise your fats over the course of time that you're depleting your carbohydrates. So as your carbs go down, your fats will go up. So what I'm kind of doing is I'm increasing my fats between 5 and 10 grams per day as my carbohydrates kind of deplete around 20 to 30 grams. So I'm raising my fats as I'm depleting my carbohydrates. With protein, I would raise your protein to about 1.2, 1.3 grams per pound. When you raise your carbohydrates, you're going to go do the opposite. So the calories that you're using from carbohydrates when you're carb loading has got to come from somewhere. So I would take that from protein, because as we know, protein and carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. So you got to take those calories from somewhere. So I would take them from protein, and I would bring your protein down from whatever it is. If you're at say you're at 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, then I would bring it down to say 0.8 or 0.9, and then just take those calories from your protein and put them towards your carbohydrates. And then your fats, obviously you're going to lower your fats according to how much carbohydrates taken in. Now, you've noticed that I haven't specifically noted how much carbohydrates, fats and protein to take in, because that is up to the individual. That is up to your coach or whoever's going to run it. This is just very, very generic, and just to show you different ways of actually doing a peak week. There's no set way of doing a peak week. It's always up to the individual. It's always up to the person, because everyone's body's going to respond differently. One thing I will say, don't go and add in anything new. So if you're used to having chicken, oats, rice and protein powder, when you go carb up, don't go and add heaps of pancakes and bread and that kind of stuff. If you haven't been having bread and things like that on your prep, then why add them in the last week? You may be fine, however you may have an upset stomach. So don't go and add in crazy things like ice cream and cheesecake and things like that into the last week when you go to carb up, if you haven't already implemented it in your cut previously, because the last thing you want to do is bloat up, have gut issues and things like that leading up to the comp. The best thing you can do is actually just have foods that you would normally have on your prep. Show day, everyone's going to be different. However, most people like to keep their carbs either consistent or on the minimal amount if they're feeling good. One thing I will add is have a healthy balance between a little bit of fats, a little bit of carbohydrates, and a little bit of protein. You don't need as much protein on show day because you're not going to be building your muscle, you're not going to be losing your muscle for that day. I would just focus on getting mainly your carbohydrates and good fats in. Let's talk about fiber. Fiber is really good when you're going through your carb depletion phase. Even on your carb loading phase, you can have a little bit of fiber. When it comes to show day, have no veggies. Cut out your vegetables. Try to eliminate as much fiber as possible, because the thing you're trying to avoid on show day is actually that keeping yourself full. Now fiber is going to obviously be the brake pedal on your food and it's going to keep you full, but the last thing you want to do is have a full stomach on show day. You want to have a light stomach, but you don't want to be hungry also, so you want something that's going to be easy to digest, but that is not going to kind of blow your stomach up and keep you full, because when you're on stage, that's the last thing you want to see, or the last thing you want to feel. So things like rice cakes and peanut butter and stuff like that are quite good on show day. That's what you'll see most people consuming. A lot of people, when they're pumping up, are consuming like simple sugars like gummy bears or Reese's Pieces, Snickers bars, things like that. So yeah, eliminate all the fiber if possible. Don't have any veggies on show day. So let's now talk about training on peak week. Now that we've covered nutrition, let's talk about training. So I'm going to run you through what I'll be doing in terms of my training for peak week, and then I can run through like a few different scenarios and what to do. So on Sunday, which is today, I will be training my last do my last leg session. Now that'll be my last proper leg session with like higher volume, and I'll also be burning between 200 to 300 calories in cardio. Now Monday will be an upper body day, and I'll be, as same again with cardio, be burning 200 to 300 calories. And then Tuesday will be a full body day. Now this will be a day where I will most likely be training with bands, as I'll be fully depleted. That day I will roughly only be around 30 grams of carbs. So I'll be just doing, say, like a bands workout up in my home gym or in my lounge. Now, same again, I'll be burning between 200 to 300 calories that day during cardio, which will most likely consist of, say, taking a dog for a walk, something like that. Now, Wednesday, it'll be kind of a rest day, but it'll also be a full body day. Now, let me explain. So, this will be my main carb up day. Like, as I said, midweek, I'm going to do a massive spike in the carbohydrates. Now, after each meal, I'm going to do like a full body pump up. So that means doing, like, say for legs, I'll just be doing some bodyweight squats, and I'll be doing 3 sets of a chosen exercise per muscle group. So for example, I will be doing, say, bodyweight squats, so for legs, and doing 3 sets of that between sort of 15 to 20 reps. And then arms will be the same, like band curls, 15 to 20 reps, 3 sets. Now the reason I do this might sound a bit like Jeff Nippard says a bit bro. And if you don't know, bro science means like just information you take from any old bloke in the gym who looks like they've got some size and there's no scientific backing. This might sound a bit bro, but it's just to help push the glycogen into the muscles to get utilized. Either way, it works for me. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just do pump up after every every meal. Now, whether it works or it doesn't, that's just going to help fill those glycogen stores in the muscles. And then on Thursday will be an upper body pump day and cardio. I'm going to do no cardio on the Thursday, and the Friday will be a full body day and also be no cardio. Now on the Friday it'll be more of an emphasis on the upper body. Same again, it'll just be a pump workout, but I will still do something like bodyweight squats for the legs, or basically go how I'm feeling. So the last full-on leg session will be today, like on a Sunday, but I'll just kind of play it by ear and what I do with legs, because the last thing I want to do is have sore legs and a sore body for stage on the show day. And then on the Saturday, I'm just going to be running through some posing. So there's going to be no training on the Saturday. On the show day, I'm just going to be doing some posing, and then obviously going to be pumping up backstage with some bands. Now that is what I'm going to do. It is up to the individual what you want to do. You can go on the Sunday, you can go lower body, then upper body, then lower body, then upper body, and just keep doing that. Or you could just maintain your current split. So I would always suggest doing the last big leg session either on a Saturday or Sunday, and then kind of just doing, maybe you could do like a chest session, you could do like a back session, arm session, shoulder session, whatever it is, as long as you don't fatigue yourself too much. Now you want to deplete those glycogen stores as much as possible on those low carb days if you are doing a carb depletion. However, you don't want to push yourself to absolute failure and then occurring extra lactic acid, which going to create more muscle soreness. You don't want a lot of that. So just do enough work to deplete those glycogen stores so that when you do increase your carbohydrates, that uptake is a lot greater. In terms of cardio, you don't have to do cardio during the week, but I'm definitely doing cardio when I'm carb depleting, just to deplete the body as much as possible so that my body soaks up as much carbs as possible when I am carbing up. So that's the reason I'm doing it. You don't have to do any cardio in this last week. That is entirely up to you and how you feel. And yeah, just listen to your body. If your body's definitely telling you that you've had enough, don't push to that limit where you can overexert yourself and like possibly go to the point of absolute exhaustion and just passing out, because that is not good. You're already in a depleted state, so you don't want to push yourself to the extra limit. So that is my plan in terms of training. Entirely up to you what you guys want to do, but listen to your body and stop when you need to stop, but also push yourself when you actually need to push yourself. So I hope this helped. Thank you for watching this video. Any questions, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you fire your questions down below, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, and then I'll try to help you out as best as possible. Like I say, everyone is different. Everyone's body responds differently, so do what you need to do according to your body. Right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.